इदानीं तावत् तन्त्रयुक्तिविषये यत्किमपि वक्तव्यं तदहम् अधुना प्रस्तौमि। अस्य विषयस्य आयुर्वेदस्य मया यत् व्याख्यानं पूर्वं दत्तं तस्य कः सम्बन्धः इति संशयः केषाञ्चित् मनसि सञ्जातः साधुरेव, किन्तु अस्य सम्बन्धोऽस्ति। कथं तत् अधुना अहं अयं तावत् टेक्निकलः विषयः, अतः आङ्ग्लभाषाम् अधिकृत्य ब्रवीमि। So using technology is the major. So how we reach vast students of Ayurveda all over India and even abroad? The best thing to do is to use technology. That's what we are doing in the morning, 6:30 to 7:30. I am reading Charaka Samhita and other Samhita. And though I am reading in Sanskrit, along with commentaries, I explain it in Hindi right now. Previously, I explained it in English. So we are reading Charaka for the second time right now. So by technology, we can reach all over India and abroad. And students from all over India, they join this course, basically from Ayurveda, and those are all practicing Vaidyas. So the Central Sanskrit University can play a vital role by using technology. So when I heard from Mr. Sarode that Central Sanskrit University is engaged in Ayurveda and Sanskrit for some research projects, so that time it struck my mind that okay, we can go ahead with technology and Sanskrit together so that we can reach many people. So what we can do, we can develop a portal of Ayurveda and Sanskrit, and on that the texts are made available for the benefit of everybody, something like that. The first step will be making Ayurvedic text available in digital, searchable and editable form. Now most of the texts that are available in the market are in printed form. What we use also, we use from the printed form. But now there are PDFs available of Charaka Samhita, Sushil Samhita, Ashtanga, like that. So we can read the PDF on the screen and then we can share it. The next step over here is availability of the text in a searchable, editable form. Now, NIIMH, National Institute of Ayurveda and Indian Medical Heritage, that is working on Ayurvedic text. It has already put Charaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita in digital form, and all Nighuntus they have made available in digital form. Only thing is on Nighuntus there is no commentary. For Charaka and Sushruta they have put commentary as well. So we can go through original text and the commentaries. But if we are able to make all texts in Ayurveda available in digital form, that will be great. So what is required now? This is the Devanagari script, and OCR for Devanagari script was not available for many years. But now that has been made available. Even Google Lens application in the mobile is capable of capturing a picture of a page and then identifying the words. It may need tutoring to certain extent initially, but later on we can get very good clear text, editable form, and then we may take it in Excel form or in a database form, in anything that is possible. So, if the texts are made available in digital form, that will be of great help, and then we can design many research projects on that. As what Krishnata Kosha project, Pratipadika Kosha project are based on the available text from the in the internet through technology. So we can build many research projects on this research project. But this is the basic, that the texts are made available in digital form, editable form, searchable form. That should be found. various learning tools can be developed based on this searchable form. Now what happened? We try to teach, but we don't teach how to learn. Whatever knowledge that we have perceived from our gurus, from our texts, that we keep on delivering. That's the common scenario. But we never ask the student how to learn that. And then there is a gap between what we teach and what the student understands. Because student is coming from different backgrounds and knowledge is a continuous process. Whatever you have learned before, whatever you have experienced before, on that basis, the new knowledge is perceived. And then there is a very good commentary by Chakravarti Datta on Atmendriya Malodhanam Sandhikashna Pravartate Vyaktatadhatve Yapati Pratyaksham Sanyocha. So Chakravarti Datta explains that here Pratyaksha Palarupapi Buddhi Pratyaksha Shabdena Abhidiyate Tathaiva Loka Vyavhara Parmarthatastu Yato Bhavati Indriyadrehe Yadrushi Buddhi Tat Pratyaksha. So what he says, Pratyaksha Jnana and Pratyaksha Buddhi are different. Pratyaksha Jnana is common. My words are common to all of you. So Pratyaksha Jnana, Shastra Jnana is common. But the Pratyaksha Buddhi of each individual is different. Everybody tries to assimilate it on the basis of his previous knowledge, on the basis of his previous experiences. So, in the same kind of knowledge, the pravrittis are different. Supposing we see an accident, generally we ignore that. Accidents happen, something like that. If it happens to be somebody whom we know, then we rush for the help. And if we come to know that it's our enemy, we say, okay, God has punished him, something like that. So incidence is the same. Some accident has happened, but the reactions are different by different people in different situations. So, truly speaking, when we learn, that is a different story. And what we try to do, we try to deliver lectures, we try to pass on whatever knowledge, whatever experience that we have. But the person who is listening, who is reading that, may not have the same perception as what the author is, or the reader is saying, something like that. So learning is a different process, and one has to learn learning. How to learn, that one has to understand and then put his efforts for that. Ours is a full spoon feeding, which is not ultimately going to work. If you want to go deeper, then you need to have your own understanding about the subject and then your own reactions on that. So there should be learning tools. What I am emphasizing, there should be learning tools, how to learn. Say for example, Adhyayanam Adhyapanam Tadvidya Sambhashana Adhyayanam. That is what Ayurveda category says. So Adhyapana is also learning. It is Adhyayana. Because when we want to explain it to somebody else, then we should first understand it properly. Then only we can explain to others. So for that matter, you have to read it thoroughly again, deep thinking of that. And when you really understand, oh, this is the thing, then only you can explain it to the other. So, Adhyapana or teaching itself is a good learning. If we do it wholeheartedly, of course. There is one sutra in Madhavanan Madhukoshtika, Siddhi Kartavya ko Rogut Padake Chilina. आणि यामध्ये दोषित कर्तव्याचा आरोपा संप्राप्ती विषयते तन्मते संप्राप्ती विधार्थार्थम स्थिती कर्तव्यता का स्थिती कथा तस्या दोषित कर्तव्यता रूपाया इति कर्तव्यता भावा. This is what the Madhukar Tikakar says. And this is a very difficult thing to understand. When I was learning with Marathi Guruji, शब्द करून भूत विशेष आशय प्रति ज्ञान कारण संयोग रूप महाशय एवं इंद्रियता की एक व्याख्या बताई गई है वहाँ पे. तो मुझे पढ़ने पर कुछ समझ में नहीं आया, तो मैं उठा और उनके पास चला गया कि ये क्या है, किस प्रकार से। वो तो अंध व्यक्ति थे, 8वें वर्ष में उनकी पूरी दृष्टि जानने लगी, 8वें वर्ष में पूरे अंध हो गए। और फिर संस्कृत और अध्यात्म ये दो बातें सिखाते थे इस प्रकार से। तो उन्होंने कहा कि ऐसा है कि इसको 1 घंटा लगता है, तुम्हारे पास अगर समय है तो मैं बता दूंगा। हाँ ठीक है, मैं ठहरूंगा यहाँ पे। और फिर उन्होंने एक बताया कि समझ में नहीं आना गुनाह नहीं है, ध्यान नहीं देना गुनाह है। जाते जाते उन्होंने एक बात बता दी कि इफ यू डोंट अंडरस्टैंड दैट नॉट ए मिस्टेक, दैट नॉट what you can say aparad, but if you are not giving proper attention, then that is definitely offensive. That is what he said. So what we are also trying to do in Gurukul, we are trying to do the same, because we have to cover that portion, whole portion and other things. So I have been emphasizing that after 2-3 days, let the students try to say what they have understood or something like that, what they have learned actually, and then we go ahead or something like that. So if we develop learning tools for that, for understanding Ayurvedic text. Our book on Ashtanga Sutrasthana is a pioneering effort in this direction. But it's a printed version, it is a little bit better. What we tried to do, Ashtanga Sutrasthana, we wanted to put Bhashantar of that. I was working on that, and my 2 students are also simultaneously working on that, the same principle. And we approached the same publisher. So the publisher said, Gavit sir is also doing, you are also doing, what is the matter? Then she contacted me. She was my student. So I said, I have already started and I have completed 3 chapters of that. She said she has also started with some other chapter or something like that. So we united and we said, okay, we'll publish in 3 authors book or something like that. But I said, I am doing it in different manner. People should try to understand Ayurvedic texts in the way we try to understand Sanskrit. I was doing my BA in Telangana Vidyapeeth, and we were following the traditional way. So Roham Sham, Kumar Sambhavam, whatever it may be, we have to go for the Ganganatha Tika and then try to understand the text like that. So I said, let us start with Sadhya Vigraha, Samas Vigraha, Anvay. And then, if the Anvay is done, then one can know the proper meaning of that, Vachat, at least Vachat. Let us forget about Vyangyaartha, Lakshyartha, etc. But at least Vachartha should be known. So, if we know that this is Karta, this is Karma, these are the Visheshana of Karta, Karma, etc. And then, this is the meaning of that shloka. Let students start understanding it on their own through this kind of paper. And once they get accustomed to this, then they can read Charaka, Sushruta, whatever it may be or something like that. If they understand that this is the way, then they can definitely proceed ahead with that. So here we connect the concept of Yoga Tantrayukti. So Yoga Tantrayukti is nothing but Anvay. स्वतंत्र कार्य औषधा तेषां साधतिदित्यां कार्यज्ञेय अंशाः साधः अतिदित्यां क्षयः उद्भवः पूर्वः भातिः क्षीणः समां स्वस्य स्थानं तत्तः स्वस्य कार्यस्य अग्निः. So in this way we try to give सद्य विग्रह समास विग्रह स्वतंत्र कार्यज्ञेय अंशाः तो इस तरीके से if we try to give the Tantrayukti समास विग्रह अन्वय in this way, this is the technical procedure which we are संदर्भ साधारण देशां दुष्टां विदोषां विशोधयेत्. So whatever the standard may be, these are just glimpses. If we try to give Sandhi Vigara, Samas Vigara, Anvay, and then simple meaning, Vacha, at least, and then Spashtikarana can be anything. Everybody may have his own way of looking at that. And as per his own experiences, his own understanding, he may try to elaborate that. But it is possible that Sanskrit scholars may be taking some help from Ayurvedic scholars as well. Can do it. There is not a very difficult job to make Sandhi and Anvay in this way. And then it's a self-help for the students. They can directly learn from the book. But it's nothing but Anvay. It helps in understanding the meaning of the thing. So it will be a kind of self-help for students. The Central Sanskrit University is the perfect choice for this. Now, once the pada is identified, so Tinganta pada. So we keep aside Tinganta for a while. We have to consider it anyway. Ekating Vakyam. So we have to consider Tinganta, whatever Tinganta pada is there. But Subanta, we can start with and try to identify the Pratipadika of that Subanta. Now, Pratipadika is the original word, Arthavad Anatara Pratyaya Pratipadikam. So, Arthavad Anatara Pratyaya Pratipadikam. So, Pratipadika can be derived from the pada as such. And then, Pratipadika are less than pada in the whole context. So, what we are trying to do, we are trying to enumerate all Pratipadikas in a given text, alphabetically text. And then we try to store that Pratipadika in the context of that particular sandarbha. And also record that sandarbha fully. Whatever the text is, that also is separately collected and separately put. In Trishkanda Kosh, what happened? We just gave the sandarbha. That this is from Ashtagandha Sutrasthan like that. One has to open that book and then see the reference. Then you have to see which edition, etc., etc. And then if there are differences, then one cannot be able to find it over there. Now what we are doing, we are also giving the original text on the computer itself. So you can just open that window and see the original reference along with the computer. So this is possible through technology. So this can be done. Besides this, we can work on Ayurvedic Shabdakosh edited by Ganganatha Jha Joshi and Nama Joshi. These were two stalwarts in Mumbai. And what they have done, they have given the meaning of each Ayurvedic word with a particular context. What is the meaning in that particular context? And this is very authenticated. They have worked on two different planes. One is Sanskrit into Sanskrit, and second is Sanskrit into Marathi. Marathi is more elaborate because the volume very increased. No, this is not available in the market. This is out of print. But the PDF is available. So what we can do, we can download the PDF of this Shabdakosh, and then on right mouse click, we can give the Marathi meaning of that particular Shabda in that particular context. So, right mouse click is a very common phenomenon in computers. Whatever extra information that you want to give, you can give it in that right mouse click. So, whether it is a definition given in the Tika, Panchakarmani Kurvita Matrakala Vichare, the Chakrapani could explain the Vedikartaveta Yoga, Dharmadharana Shakti Dayatvam, Panchakarmatvam. This definition is nowhere. This is only in Chakrapani the commentary like that. So in the commentary, we can say, nice mouse please, that this is the definition you are given by Chakrapani. So whatever you feel important in that particular sutra, that you can give in the with the right mouse click, and then you can definitely get more information about that word. Now this is in Marathi. So what to do about other students, other languages? So best thing to do is create a translation of this into Hindi and English of the Marathi words. Now translation doesn't suffice the work completely. There was one Sanskrit Parishad held by Vidyapeeth in Bhusavar a long time. So I was one of the members of that committee. And what he tried to do, Guru heavy, Lagu light, like that. He puts up just words, word to word like that. His basic problem was teaching Ayurveda in foreign countries. He was associated with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. He was studying all over in America. And people didn't understand Shita, Ushna, Guru, Lagu, Snigdha, etc. So how to explain them? That is why he started saying, let us do Paribhasha Nishtiti or something like that. When actually I saw that Umesh Mishra saw that, I said, no, this is not the way. Guru doesn't reflect the meaning, heavy doesn't reflect the meaning of the Guru in all entities, all parts or something like that. Dravya Brahmane Karane Shakti Guru. So this is the explanation of Guru Guna given somewhere else. So Guru is not just heavy, it has an action of doing Brahmana Karma or something like that. So considering all those aspects of a particular word, one may try to give glossary of words, not actually the meaning. So what is dosha? There was one book I saw in US. The first line was, there are 3 basic faults in Ayurveda. Just horrible. He translated those as faults. Completely changing the terminology. Where is fault and where is dosha? There is absolutely no comparison. Dosha is a concept, it's a dravya, and it's very elaborate. So, when we say that Rogastu dosha veshakam dosha sami marogata, etc., etc., it's a very big concept. How can one say fault? So, what one has to do is collect all the references of that particular shabda, that particular Pratipadika, and then try to identify what can be the best explanation based on all those, and prepare a glossary. That should be a fine work. If at all we want to convey it to others or something like that. So one of the major tasks is making the translation in the glossary form, not word-to-word translation, in the glossary form of this Ayurvedic Shakti. This is a marvelous work. Around 78 years before it has been done. There has been Ashtanga Sangraha, Sutrasthanam Nidanasthanam, edited by Chitrashara Press. It's a monumental work. Without computers, how could they do it? I am just surprised for that. But that is a marvelous work giving cross references. When they take a sutra from Ashtanga Sangraha, then where same kind of sutra is available in Charaka, in Sushruta, Vakuta, they give the reference or something like that. So, these kinds of works are really appreciable, very much appreciable. And this has been done again 60, 70 years before. The Kshetresh work. And that now that was made available again, reprinted. But I don't know how many people know about that and how many people use it daily or something like that. Anyway, so it should be glossary and not word-to-word translation. That is what is required. And the understanding of that is very crucial. So, we keep the terminology, whether it is dravya, one should not say dravya is matter. Atma, man, are dravya according to us. They are not matter. In Jewish species, they are not called as matter. So, that will be misleading. If we say dravya is matter, then it all goes away. Yatrashita karmana karanathamma yadda dravya. This is not also our definition. And then we follow that definition in Ayurveda, that should be fine. So what we try to do is keep the terminology intact. Don't change the terminology. What you can do is explanation, give an explanation about the terminology and collect all the references to give the terminology, and then you can go ahead.
The meanings of these words can be explained in Hindi, English as per context and taking view of available references.
So rightmost click again would give you meaning in Marathi, meaning in Hindi, meaning in English or something like that. And then that will be easier for the reader to understand the meaning. If we know the Anvay now, and we know the meaning of each word from Ayurvedic Shabdakosh. And then we try to understand the meaning of the whole sentence. That should be fine. Still, this is just Vachartha. Explanation will be needed on that, but that will differ from person to person.
We can have encyclopedic perspective in the form of pictures, videos, information from coming to lecture.
Now, e-books are upcoming. Now, my books have been converted into audiobooks. One of my patients in Amravati, he converted my all books, Marathi and English, into audiobooks. So that is a very good step for me, very easy for me to circulate or something like that. So these are just audiobooks. These are not encyclopedic books. But encyclopedia can be done on the basis of this. So if we say that we are talking about Guruji, we can give picture of the Guruji, we can give information about when it's flowering, when it is collected, what are the uses of Guruji, etc., etc. So on rightmost click, there can be many things, many aspects or something like that. If we say Peya, Yusha, etc., we can have video of 14 times water added to rice and then prepare a Peya or something like that. We can give video. Just giving information, instead of giving information, we can give a video. That is also possible. Now, we are trying to work on Kapararandra Dhavti and Karnarandra Dhavti. This is a new thing that I am trying to introduce. The whole process started with the hormonal imbalance and Ayurveda. What Ayurveda can do for hormonal imbalance. PCOD is very common now. And the reasons behind PCOD are quite long standing. The advanced age of marriage is one of the major reasons for PCOD. Now there is the maturity of women is just 16 years. There is preparation of ovum every month, and it doesn't have any utilization because the marriage age is 28, 29, 30 or something like that. So it's a natural adaptation to contraception. That is what some gynecologists say. PCOD is a natural adaptation towards contraception or something like that. Now the menses are delayed, there is accumulation of this ovum in the ovary, and the size of the ovary is occupied by these seeds, and that again has effect on delaying of menses, etc. And further, it can lead to infertility. That is, most of the patients come to us for infertility due to PCOD or something like that. So we were just thinking what can be done. The basic thing is hormonal imbalance. Now, why hormonal imbalance? That is due to this food that we are eating. Especially non-vegetarian diet, the animals are fed with hormones and other things. And there is one movie, one video available on Amazon. So precisely, this is on McDonald's. There is another movie on raising pigs. There is one factory in US which has a capacity of killing 32,000 pigs one day. So, how large scale they are implementing, that we can understand. And then they are given hormones, they are given steroids, they are given antibiotics, And if the maturity has to occur on 48th day, they make it mature on 28th. And they don't have to be killed. They die by heart attack, the pigs. Just collect it and it goes for dish. So this is one of the reasons. Now even in plants, oxytocin is injected. That is one of the major reasons. You can see videos. The kaddu is on this side. Next day it becomes like this, double of the size or something like that. So the hormonal imbalances are getting widespread, and there are problems with thyroid. One of the major reasons behind thyroid is iodine salt. People are unaware about that. That the iodine salt should not be, that should be used only in that restricted area where iodine is less. Then why should we use salt? We should use iodine. But unnecessarily that is being given to all community or something like that. So there are varieties of reasons behind this, and we were thinking how to overcome that. The pituitary gland is one of the important glands, and it governs all endocrine glands. So we started with some process like Kapala Nandar. It's a combination of this hammering and Brahmari. And initially it started with PCOD, and we got very good results. Besides all our treatment. So we give all our treatment, but besides that, we started with this as well. Then I started working for meningioma, which is a non-malignant cancer, and also schwannoma, that is another acoustic schwannoma, that is also non-malignant, and astrocytoma and glioblastoma, these are malignant cancer, malignant tumors. And with this, we found that there is a regression in the size of the tumor. This is a spandana that we are currently directly acting on the head region. Sarvendriyani enasmin pranayeshu jo samskrita yaduttamanga manganam shirasthadabhiyate. That is what Ayurveda says about Shiras. All indriyas are situated in the Shiras. Uttamanga, that is called as Uttamanga or something like that. So one can give videos along with this, and that should be a very good step. And beside that, information from the commentaries. So if we try to develop e-books with encyclopedic aspect, maybe pictures, maybe videos, maybe other information, allied information or something like that, that will be great. Now,
help from the technology
is available in every walk of life. So even Sanskrit universities can avail this help for our Sanskrit texts. And the Ayurveda is a practical science, so we can definitely say that these are helpful for us, there is no doubt. But in mathematics, maybe in Chanakya-Samiti, maybe in some other things, if one thinks of technology for this purpose, how we can put technology into this, that will be great. We need to link every palpitation along with Sanskrit citation and reference with Ayurvedic and which provides meaning of that verse in particular context, like the dictionary project of Deccan College. So Deccan College project is a huge project, 100-year project. I don't know how many years have been completed and how much of that has come out. But what I had seen, that was what published by them. There is still a long way to go. But anyway, we can put Ayurvedic Shabdakosh for that. We can bring Ayurvedic Shabdakosh for that, if it is, and that should be helpful in all directions.
Yes. Students can easily understand the meaning of the particular sutta.
So at least now you will be able to know Vacha.
Sorry for interrupting you. As per the Ayurveda, there has any negative impact of human lives for the technology users? What do you think? The negative impact of using of technology in human life.
There are, Not only negative.
So if you were talking about that good kind of feeding and the A1, A2 meal, and you are also suggesting that we need to have the technological usage for Ayurvedic texts. Isn't it a contradictory statement?
No, not contradictory. See, mobile we are using, everyone is using mobile. There are known hazards of mobile. It produces radiation. There was one study conducted, there was a mobile tower and it was facing the fourth floor of a particular building. All fourth floor residents, they got cancer. Every room, every house, they had a cancer patient. Now this was revealed afterwards that it is due to the radiation of the mobile. But now, are we going to stop using mobile? That's a big issue. So what we try to do, know the hazards, at least you keep it 2 feet away from your body. That is what
the same thing comes with the A1 meals and the cheap price of rice which are gaining by the fruit of a green revolution and white revolution and all. So why are not actually putting this reason behind these kind of things? Why only the technology you are putting aside?
No, this is also technology. Green revolution and white revolution is also technology. There is no doubt about that. But that is directly associated with our food and other technologies like these. They are not directly associated with our human life. Only mobile is like connected. Now we have seen Chandrayaan. This is a technological advance. That there is no doubt about it. Is it going to affect us in any way? So we are booking our tickets of movie or air and bus, etc. Is it going to affect others like that?
It's my question to you.
So that is what I am saying. We have to be selective. Try to understand what are the hazards. Okay, there are some hazards. Every technology doesn't come with a hazard. There are different issues about this. And particularly mobile technology does have hazard. There is no doubt about that. So we have to be cautious. Wi-Fi connection is itself a culprit again. So when not necessary, you should put off Wi-Fi because there are radiations going on in your phone, something like that. So one has to be aware about the hazards of the technology, but one may not say that we will not be using technology. We just use the computer. Computer is a very big technology. We used it and that's all. It's not going to create something hazard in our life or something like that. So one has to be choosy in using technology, which technology should be used and about which we should be cautious. That one has to understand. But otherwise, if we don't try to use this technology right now, then it is very difficult to take up projects like this. Whatever projects that we have taken, this is the course, Ayurvedic course, or whatever is audiobooks or something like that, it's not possible.
So, one thing, where your projects or the treats on the course, whatever, can you please put the site's name where we can actually browse those sites for seeing or anything?
Yeah, the Pratipadika Kosha is making right now. We can explore it right now. Triskanda Kosha has been prepared, but unfortunately it is unavailable. You can look at my books, the books that have been published. At least I have a copy of that, so you can definitely come and see that. We have got some printouts. You can have a look at that. But unfortunately, the digital version, diagnostic treatment software, is not available of that right now. So it is not possible to do. But recitation of shloka, that is available. We can provide slide that is on YouTube. So I have also done the recitation of Ashtanga Suprasthana. My son also has done it. So he has done it for Nidana Sthanam as well. So how should the pronunciation be? That is possible. We can definitely give you dates or something like that. And other things, if you try to search in YouTube, there are so many videos of mine, so many audios of mine. Every day I record 5 minutes audio and This is now 226 or something like episode. What I am trying to speak now is investing in health, Gunton Karokeri. I am speaking in Marathi and Hindi both. And every day 5 minutes. So the basic thing is, if we invest in health, we may not have to spend on disease, on treatment of disease. If we invest in health and have long, healthy life, no worry about diseases. But that includes organic food, regular exercise, regular yoga, etc. So everything that is investment. And though organic is costly, that is not expense, that is an investment. That way we have to understand or something like that. So that material that can be given, I can share even the hormone modules, that is quite possible or something like that. So anyway, this might be looking little bit controversial. There was one guru, Jain Sadhu, Vidyapeeth Maharaj Sahib in Ahmedabad. And first time when I visited him, he took Diksha at the age of 23. He was from diamond owner's family. A very rich person. But then later on he learned Sanskrit. And then he did IMD. So only one time in, and that is also Ruksha, no sneaker. And 150 days continuous into the IMD. And then 20-22 kilometers walk every day barefoot, and then giving sermons after that. So he lost his weight like anything. He came from 64 to 32 kilograms. And then he tried to seek help from medical sciences. Initially, he was given antibiotic treatment that didn't help, and on the contrary, it was worsening. So he started with Ayurveda. And there was one very aged person in Ahmedabad. So with his treatment, he maintained something like that. And then he started looking for his own symptoms from the Ayurvedic text. Then somebody told him that don't do it like that. There is Lakshan Kosh already published. You can look for the symptoms in Lakshan Kosh itself. So he brought that. He read the whole Prastavana of that. The Prastavana is in Hindi, English, Sanskrit, and Marathi, on 4 languages. Then he fell in love with that. Then he started following me, his disciples. So eventually I made up my mind and went to visit him. We had long discussions. And I found that he was drinking too much of water. He was eating only 15 grams of rice and 10 grams of bar. Only that much he was able to digest. But he was drinking 4 liters of water. Then I said, you have to reduce water. That is happening where I live. But he said, I feel thirsty, that's why I drink. I said, okay, we'll look for that. And I started with Laga Siddhesha, Suvarna and Laga Siddhesha. That reduced his thirst, and the water intake came down to 1 liter. I said, okay, then you start with bakri milk, goat milk. And that increased his weight by 3-4 kgs. So he said, okay, you come over here, we'll probably everything. You dedicate your life in Ahmedabad. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. But in the first instance, he said that you don't take whatever is available in the market. He sent taking the 100 kgs of wheat and rice and dal, everything to my house immediately. And then I started using it. It's a long backstory. So, what happens actually, if you really want to understand the whole concept and so, then there are many factors associated with this, and investing in health has profound benefits for the whole life as such. So that investing in health, I'm sending many WhatsApp groups, and they are spreading it all over India. That is now happening. So definitely some things I can share that I will definitely share.
So for deeper knowledge, explanation by knowledgeable and experienced guru is required.
we have Shastra, Vidya and Kala. The differentiation between these three is quite, what you can speak of, one will say. Shastra Guru Giranam Adaya Upasya Chasana. So whatever has been said by the Guru, we have to learn it by heart and asakuru again and again. But Shastra is a text. Tadapurta Deva Shastra, Charkacharya says in 8th chapter, Suma Deshasi Deva Purta Savitam, Udara Vacha, Lakshana Vacha, etc. Even the Paribhasha of Shastra. And one has to approach Bahuni Shastra and Vishadam Vacha case. So there are so many sciences of medicine. One has to approach appropriate science and appropriate guru or something like that. And then Vidya has to be learned from Guru. So Vidya comes from Guru. Whatever the Guru explains about that Shastra, maybe his own explanation, maybe his experiences or something like that, that only can be had from the Guru. Vidya Mati Karma Drishti Abhyasa Vilashraya Alamike Muktata. Karma says in 9th chapter, Sutra Vidya Mati Karma Drishti Abhyasa Vilashraya. So these are 6 factors, and Vidya is one of them. So Vidya has to be learned from the Guru. And third is the Kalam. How to behave with the patient, their relatives, etc., etc., how we practice, how much money will be taken, etc. These are all Kalam aspects. And truly speaking, Ayurveda is not just the Artha, not just the Vidya, not just Kala, it's a combination of things. Unless and until a student understands that these are the 3 things that we have to know, they have to assimilate fully, then only he can become a knowledgeable Vaidya, he can become a good Vaidya, practitioner Vaidya or something like that.
So that has to come from knowledgeable and experienced Guru
For deeper understanding of the text. When I am reading Charan Samhita for the second time on the same sutra, my bhasha is totally different. That first one I have done 5-6 years before. Now whatever I am doing right now, it's totally different. So at that particular moment, what comes to my mind, I speak it. This is just I don't prepare anything. I don't read before. Just when I start reading, I go ahead with whatever explanation that I have in my mind or something.
So, for this matter, explanation and knowledge, simultaneously, of Sanskrit experts can work on proper pronunciation and interpretation of elements.
For the purpose of memorization of sutras. So, memorization is a very good technique. Now in schools, the memorization doesn't find a place as such. Whatever I have memorized in my first year, 1975-76, that still I remember and still I practice in my practice, I use it in my practice. Aparadha Sutra Sukshma Tadanyantehi Bhavataha. So whatever has been said in the Sutra Sthana, that is the elaboration of that in all over the text. So in this way, we can definitely make students aware of memorization of shlokas by heart, and simultaneously they should be trying to understand the meaning of that shloka. That was what I did. In first year BMS, how many of you are Vaidya or something like that? Okay. Generally what happens, we are medical students. When we join Ayurvedic course, BMS course, we are medical students. So one should be knowing about the anatomy and physiology. It is very logical, something like that. And in 12th standard, whatever we are learning of anatomy, physiology, etc., modern sciences and such. So in the first year, what happens? Students get attracted towards the anatomy and physiology. And anatomy is a very slippery subject. Whatever you try to understand, you try to memorize, it's very short memory. And by the time you approach examination, everything is lost. So better is to do it in the last moment, when the memory is fresh or something like that. When I understood that memorization of shloka is important for Ayurveda, I started doing that wholeheartedly for most of the time. We were going to colleges on cycle and try to memorize at home. And then Avrutti is to be done while going on cycle. So this way I remembered the shlokas by heart for so many years. I can collect many references from varieties of texts just because of this memorization, because I was going with wholehearted. So if students they start memorizing the shlokas by heart, that will be beneficial for them. And simultaneously they should try to learn Sanskrit to understand the meaning. So by the time you start reading it, you start understanding the meaning of that. If you are well versed with Sanskrit, then simultaneously you can start understanding the meaning of the shloka, sutra. And then that can be used in examinations in clinical practices. Examination is just all while, but clinical practice very vast field, etc. So in that you can definitely.
As a result of Vidyapeeth students, we become active to understand the original text and we have access to
The real source of knowledge. Instead of reading the textbooks published by the teachers or something like that, it's always better to go to the original text, try to understand the meaning, try to memorize the shlokas, and herein the technology can be used to integrate text.
Further, we can work on e-books of Ayurveda with multimedia support in the form of picture sets.
So we can create e-books of Ayurveda. As I said, encyclopedic aspect we can have. And then everything is available within the text itself when we try to understand it. I was thinking a revolutionary change in the teaching of Ayurveda. The morning period should be meeting has to be spent between Vaidhyas. You have to go for mental practices. And in all this span, if you keep on understanding Ayurveda, memorizing Ayurvedic shlokas, and understanding the meaning from the original text, then you will become real people. And that will be beneficial not only for you but for the whole society. Actually, there is a big demand of society. There are so many people who are in trouble and they want something self-sure and cost-effective medicine. They are in search of that all over the world, not only in India, but all over the world.
Here, one point. Sorry for interrupting you again. The thing is, I used to go to some 5 or 6 doctors who are practicing Ayurveda. But whenever I was actually comparing them from the traditional medicine, allopathy medicine practitioner and all, I felt in Mumbai only, I felt that it is very much costlier on Ayurvedic, means where one jvara can be reduced by 1, 3 or 4 rupees paracetamol. One Ayurvedic doctor actually gives so many things that means it is my, I am not saying that everyone is doing, but how you can say that it is actually beneficial for society where people has no, that kind of money is not there, where they can actually have that allopathy medicine also.
Yeah, that is true. Only thing is, as compared to allopathy, this is cheaper. Only thing, allopathy gives symptomatic relief for a while, and Ayurveda reaches the root, so the medicine has to be continued, or at least the pathy has to be continued for a longer period, and people don't understand that. And secondly, there is a vast scope for Ayurvedic practitioners in cities only, not in rural areas or something like that. There is a drain from rural area of patients rushing to specialists of allopathy in cities. And then when allopathy fails, then they have to approach Ayurveda, homeopathy or something like that. And these cities are expensive. in case of place and other amenities, etc., where locality where it is safe. So depending on that, the things are costlier. And then one has to collect the money from the patient. There is no other way. If we have to repay the loans of the bank, there is no alternative. We have to have our charges in tune with that. Later on, we may try to establish some charitable activities like that. And these are being done. My son is working on one charitable activity given by RSS, etc. And 10 rupees per day medicine or something like that. So that is very cheap. And this is a group of Vaidyas, the young Vaidyas, dedicated. So these kinds of facilities can be made available, but initially it can be costly. That is true. And secondly, there is the mentality of the patients as well, that if you charge less money, they underestimate. If you are charging very meager amount, then they say this way they have no quality at all. Charging so less money. So better go to somebody who is charging higher charges or something like that. This is a common phenomenon. So it's very difficult to judge how much should be charged and how to whom should be charged, etc., etc. But there are Vaidyas doing general practice. They are very less. But generally, everybody is having specialized practice because nobody comes to them in the early form, earlier days. They only come when allopathy fails. That's the only reason that we have to go to somebody else. When allopathy is not working, then we have to think of something else. And in that scenario, everybody's practice is specialized practice. It's not routine practice or something like that. So there are various issues associated with this. So we can work on ebooks on Ayurveda with multimedia support in the form of pictures. Then this is all about this Tantrayukti compiling Anvay as what you were doing. I had said that I will also talk on Adhikaran Tantrayukti, etc. So Sthanadhikaran, Prakaranaadhikaran, Gatyadhikaran, Prakaranaadhikaran, split over in variety of ways. And depending on the Adhikaran itself, there are importance. Say for example, there is one very important sutra in Ayurveda, Sanskrit-Library Ganganath Jha. Treatment in short is nothing but avoidance of cause. Sanskrit-Library Ganganath is cause. So, avoidance of causes is in short treatment. For this matter, we have to know the causes. First thing that is required is we should be able to understand the knowledge, the causes. हेतुलिंगे प्रथमने रोगाणां ज्ञानप्रतिबोधनस्य सराधार होगी शकता है. हेतुलिंग औषध इन सभी के बारे में जानकारी होनी चाहिए. तो कारणों के बारे में जानकारी होना जरूरी इस प्रकार है. तो हम क्या करते हैं कि we have the full history, right from the getting up in the morning till he goes to bed. What does he do throughout the day? What does he eat? What kind of work he is engaged in? What kind of thought processes he is engaged in, or something like that. And previous diseases, etc. So, hereditary diseases. So, we try to understand the whole thing, and then we can enumerate that this is the cause, or something like that. And then avoidance of that cause itself is good. If we just avoid that cause, then that is sufficient. What they say, Jayante Hetu Vaishanya Vishma Devatava, Hetu Samya Samadesham Bhokavasana. Due to Hetu Vaishanya, there is Dhatu Vaishanya. And if there is Hetu Samya, then there is Dhatu Samya. Tesham Bhokavasana. Both these, Dhatu Samya or Dhatu Vaishanya, are perishable next moment, like that's a Shapat Chandra, like that. Hetu Visubhisha Nityam Jayante Devatava. According in accordance with the current Vedanta generated, Prabhuti Hetu Bhavanam Nirodhati Karanam, Kshetresh Chandra Chattopadhyaya Hetu Hetu. भावना प्रवृत्ति हेतु अस्ति निर्वहणे कारणं नास्ति. So there is a cause for generation of a effect, but there is no cause for variation of that particular thing. केचित् तत्रापि मन्यन्ते हेतु हेतोः वर्तन्ते. हेतोः वर्तनं केचित् तत्र हेतुः मन्यन्ते. So if the hetus are cut off, if we stop the process, then the effect is not existing. The patient gets healed. I can just quote one example. There was one fellow I was practicing in the initial stage, and one patient came with the neuritis, burning of souls and feet, souls of feet. He was suffering from 5 years from that. And he had tried various relatives of feet, really complex, etc. And nothing worked. And when I asked him, this story was strange. With a good intention, he was buying 3 bananas and taking milk from the factory and carrying roti from the house and making shikran of this 3 bananas with milk and eating it with roti for 10 years. 20 years. And he started that this is satvika. It is not iodine, it is not spicy or something like that. He started suffering from this burning sensation after 5 years. And then he had been trying many things like that. So I said, okay, you stop this. First thing you have just banana and roti, or milk and roti, but no salt in roti. And or you can have the surgery roti, that is fine, or something like that. But stop this preparation, milk and fruits together. Okay, how many years will be required? It will require 10 years for the dosha Vaishnavi to get verified. Because he was consuming for 10 years. Maybe after 5 years he may not suffer from the burning of the souls. Truly speaking, the dosha Vaishnavi will come back to dosha Samya after 10 years. What is the easiest way? So Virudhashramajan Rogan Pratyanti Virachanam Mohanam Shanam Chayati. So Virudhashrama, Rohan and Virachan and Ratnamokshan, he died dead. And he got relieved in 3 months. He got completely cured. So what we can do is try to understand the causative factors, try to eliminate those factors. That is one thing.
What is the purpose of your whole talk for a research student like us or the teacher? You have spent many times about the Ayurvedic jargons, what we have studied. But if you can elaborate that, what is the actual fundamental benefits of ours by listening to your talks or by noting down your points, if you can do that. And one thing, if you are actually you are a very good scholar, that we can feel, but it is not actually something that I am trying to going against again you, but it is only a question that why we are actually here, that spending the time where we are not feeling that we are not having any relevance of your talk and the topic itself, or as a research student, I personally, I don't know about others, you don't understand what is actually.
Okay. How many of you have used technology for your Sanskrit studies, or you want to expand it to students or something like that? Can you please hold hands? How many of you, yes ma'am, can you speak whatever you have done? Kaveri Gagan.
Yes.
You can have a mic. You are getting come after quite a long time.
Yes, sir. So, what are the use of technology in teaching and in learning Sanskrit texts that you are referring from last 3 lectures? Have you already recognized the most of the Sanskrit scholars and upcoming students, research scholars? And there are many such kind of software that you have mentioned just now that have been developed by different IIT campuses of Sanskrit learning, and they are providing more of the information, and they are easily available on our apps also. So where we can get the complete Pani Sutra, where we have the Amrit, then its correlations, then the other additions that we have to make over there. Examples have been given, the Vritti, Bhashya, other related things to that have been given below that. So such kind of softwares have been already in use, and you are busy using it and also recommending to our students. That is one thing. The other thing is that many softwares have been developed. You were referring to that there are no Sanskrit fonts as such in those times when you are started with your projects. But after that, CDAC and other many organizations have come forward with the softwares, and we have many developed softwares, and so also the fonts for using our Sanskrit scripts and Devanagari scripts along with the different varieties and decorative scripts for that. So we have also now uniform font that is not making our work easy or difficult one to transfer it to our scholars to different locations, and we can easily use that. And there are many good softwares where we can pinpoint out the words that are referential to us, and these softwares have been used. Means in new research methodology workshops that have been conducted for the new research scholars, we are referring to such kind of websites where we can find the search, we can search for the words in a given text. Most of the texts have been now uploaded in a digital form, software form, and we can utilize it. So it has been already done and being propagated in our main students.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
And from IIT, there is something. I am from IIT Bombay. So we are actually going ahead of that, where you can actually, when you are reading something, if you are stuck in some word, by detecting the motion of your eyes, it can detect that you are not understanding the word's meaning, and it will that then and there it can actually generate the synonyms of that words in every language, Indian language, not only Sanskrit also. So we are having that kind of technology, and the AI, you already know that it is also a very big achievement, and in Sanskrit also it is actually giving output quite well. We must say that it is quite well.
Okay. So, yeah, answer you know the answer. Only thing is, I want Sanskrit fraternity to work on this, start using technology to certain extent, whatever it is, or something like that. It may not be just for your own field, but maybe it feels like Ayurveda, yoga, or Arthashastra, whatever it may be, or something like that. So, how we can connect to more people? There is one WhatsApp message on Gita. Every week she writes or something like that. So some examples of that and how it explains or something like that. So this is also a good thing. Whatever we have, Subhashita we can keep on explaining to people. We may have Dinacharya, Rutucharya, Swastaputta explaining in this way. I am doing the same right now. But you can educate people with this. So you have Sanskrit knowledge. There is a domain of Sanskrit knowledge, and which you can utilize for the society. Because we are very small people. It's very small, very, very small, we can say. But then, if we come up with these kinds of technology, if we come up with something which is very, really useful for human life or something like that, nothing is like that. So, people will start understanding the treasure of knowledge in the Sanskrit. Tantrayukti is just a subject to begin with. So, I know that I just use the subject for introducing Ayurveda and other things, etc. I have done it or something like that. But what I have been doing for 43 years is nothing but this only. Fortunately enough, I got associated with Sanskrit as well, with Sanskrit gurus as well, or something like that. And at the same time, gurus from Ayurveda and other people or something. So, if we start using the technology in this particular way, if we start thinking about using the technology, that will be great. And if you help, say for example, if he launches really a product on digitalization of Sanskrit text, Ayurvedic text, or for that matter, any Sanskrit text or something like that. You get engaged in that. Whatever you can contribute, that should be great help for the Sanskrit. So, what I want to put before you, these are the views wherein we can work together and wherein we can proceed ahead, communicating with the whole society as such and for the benefit of the society as such.
So we want to listen some from you. Why is there Subhashita Sangraha from you?
I don't remember it right now, but there is Agar Sangraha in Charaka Samhita. Vaidya Mohan Visyamshaya Karanam Acharya Shantaradhikam Hetunam, like that. So, Vitaitam Sukam Dukam Aisuse Hitaitam Manchata Chaitrakam Ayurveda Sarvachate. This is the Paribhasha, this is the Ayurveda definition as such. Sharirisa Tatvatma Sanyogodhare Viditam Nityagashtam Chattopadhyaya Chakri. Or what Sushrutacharya had said about Prakriti. Not of the actual Prakriti, but Shukrishmanta Yoga Yoga Vidoshu Sada Prakriti Jayate. But Swastha Vyakya, Saudoshan Samanishya Samadhatu Kriya, Prasanatmindriya Manahata Swastha Ityapitiyate. Doshatina to Asamadam Anumanin Lakshya, Apasandendriya Viksha Purusham Vishkusha. If a person is Apasandendriya, then one should understand that he is not getting it. There is some ailment in lackness in that or something. So like that, there are so many. I have produced one series on this, audio series. I may share it, I have to dig it out. But Sanskrit Subhashita, Ayurveda Subhashita, I have produced a series on that, speaking on one particular sutra in 5 minutes or something like that. So I can definitely share, but that is in Marathi, I suppose, that was not in Hindi at that time. Right now I am doing it Marathi Hindi. But anyway, so.
चरकसंहितायाः यूट्यूब् मध्ये पञ्चनिमेष प्रक्षेपणं हिन्दी मराठी भाषायामपि करोति इति उक्तं। तत्र यदि संस्कृतमपि भवता उपयोगं करोति तर्हि आयुर्वेदछात्राणां कृते विषयज्ञानाय संस्कृतमाध्यमेन ज्ञानाय तत् सौभाग्यं भवति इति मम अभिप्रायः।
पञ्चनिमेषे एतत् दुष्करं कर्म यद् अहं करोमि इदानीं गुन्तवकारोग्यति इस विषय में so that is only for 5 minutes and every day because people don't find more time than that. तर्हि यदि संस्कृतभाषायां कर्तुं शक्यते चेत् अहम् अवश्यं प्रयत्नं करोमि तस्मिन् सन्देहः नास्ति किन्तु अल्पीये समये एतत् तावत् दुष्करं प्रतिदिनम् अहं चरकसंहितां पाठयामि इण्टर्नेट् माध्यमेन तर्हि तत्र होरापर्यन्तम् अध्ययनं प्रचलति एकहोरापर्यन्तं 6:30 से 7:30 बजे तक अगर आपका कोई किसी का इंटरेस्ट है तो उसमें ज्वाइन हो सकते हो तो फ्री है मैं लिंक भिजवा देता हूँ गोटू मीटिंग वाली लिंक है तो आप में से कोई अगर उसमें ज्वाइन होना चाहते हैं हमारा सौभाग्य है और आप संस्कृत के तरीके से उसमें कुछ सुधार देना चाहते हैं तो भी स्वागत है आप मैं मेरे तरीके से करता रहता हूँ वो अलग बात है लेकिन मैं जो बताता हूँ ज्यादा अनुभव के आधार पर है और प्रैक्टिस के हिसाब से प्रैक्टिस भी वही है उसमें शामिल होने वाला जो है वही है प्रैक्टिशनर लेकिन आप संस्कृत की दृष्टि से उसमें अगर ज्वाइन हो जाते हैं सुबह 6:30 से 7:30 बजे तक तो मैं भी शेयर लिंक कर सकता हूँ आप तक लिंक मिल जाएगी तो जो तो हम सामने लीजिए मेरे लिए सब बातें की बात इस प्रकार के
सर जैसे आपने कैंसर के बारे में बताया तो आयुर्वेद में उसका कितने दिन तक इलाज हो सकता है टाइम लगेगा और जैसे कोई एलोपैथी का ट्रीटमेंट लेता है कीमोथेरेपी उसके बाद भी वो आयुर्वेद इलाज ले सकता है एक ही। दूसरा प्रश्न है कि सर एक तो बड़ी समस्या हम सब सामना करते हैं उसका कि जब हम कहीं ट्रेन में जाते हैं कहीं रिश्तेदार के यहाँ जाते हैं तो हम सोते जाते हैं और हमारे साथ अगर कोई सुलह को होता है तो खराटे रहने लगते हैं। तो ये क्या अगर बीमारी है तो इसका आयुर्वेद में कोई इलाज है तो इससे हम सभी लगभग पीड़ित होते हैं।
इससे बीमारी कौन सी होगी?
और लोग सोते वक्त जो खराटे रहते हैं ना थर करके तो वो एक बड़ी समस्या है। मैं तो बहुत पीड़ित होता हूँ उससे, उसका कहीं भी इलाज नहीं है। कहीं क्या करने जाओगे 7 वाला 16 खराटे लेगा, किसी के रिश्तेदार खराटे लेगा, इससे बड़ी दिक्कत होती है।
उसमें ऐसा है थोड़ा कफ रहता है वो वायु को ऑब्स्ट्रक्ट करता है इसलिए होता है। तो नाक में घी डालना 4 घूंट सुबह शाम थोड़ा गरम करके दिन में इसके लिए अच्छा है। और हवा अगर निकलते हैं हम नाक बंद होने के कारण तो भी ये प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है। तो उससे भी ये इसमें फायदा होगा। और खाना कम करे थोड़ा कि जितना चाहिए उससे थोड़ा कम करे तो भी उसमें फायदा होगा इस प्रकार से। और पहले वाली जो बात है कैंसर की उसके बारे में वो बहुत इलेबोरेशन करना पड़ेगा। मैंने ज्यादातर व्याख्यान दिए हैं सर्वप्रथम लोगों के लिए भी दिए हैं वर्गों के लिए ज्यादा दिए हैं इस प्रकार से। तो किसी भी हालत में अगर हमारे पास मरीज आता है तो भी हम ट्रीट करते हैं। ऐसा नहीं कहते कि ये बिल्कुल अभी करने के लायक ही नहीं है, कुछ कर नहीं पाएंगे इस प्रकार से। लोगों को लाइक मिले इसके लिए तो प्रयास करते हैं। मेरी वेबसाइट है Indologists.com करके। और हमारा प्रयास ये रहा है कि शुरू से आयुर्वेद की ट्रीटमेंट ले कम से कम जो परहेज करना है वो समझिए, ये रूटीन खाना बंद कर दे और देसी गाय का दूध शुरू करे वगैरह इस प्रकार से। और उसके साथ में योग व्यायाम ये सब भी करें इस प्रकार से। तो इससे फायदा होता है। कम से कम चाहता है कि डिसीज फ्री स्टेट में तो हमारे पास मरीज आए। डिसीज फ्री स्टेट एक ऐसी स्टेट है डेमोन्स्ट्रेबल डिसीज नहीं है जो भी इन्वेस्टिगेशन से उसमें कुछ नहीं दिख रहा। फिर भी ये क्यों हो रहा है ऐसा एलोपैथी भी नहीं मानती। वो कहते हैं कि हम परीक्षा करते रहेंगे 10 के बाद 2 वर्ष के बाद इस प्रकार से। और अगर कैंसर वापस आता है तो फिर से केमो रेडिएशन ये सब सिलसिला चलता है। वापस न आए इसके लिए एलोपैथी में कोई तत्व नहीं है, सिर्फ इन्वेस्टिगेशन करते रहते हैं ऐसा। तो उसमें हम काफी कुछ कर सकते हैं डिसीज फ्री अवस्था में। पंचकर्म कर सकते हैं उस अवस्था में, क्योंकि जो एडवांस स्टेज है उसमें पंचकर्म पॉसिबल नहीं होता। तो इस स्टेज में पंचकर्म कर सकते हैं, पेशेंट के मुताबिक ट्रीटमेंट दे सकते हैं। तो कम से कम डिसीज फ्री स्टेट में मरीज हमारे पास है या हमारी कोशिश कर चल रही है। अभी मैं ये सब्जेक्ट को लेके आ रहा हूँ प्रिवेंशन ऑफ कैंसर प्राइमरी एंड सेकेंडरी इस प्रकार से। तो प्राइमरी अगर व्यसन है, खाना पीना अच्छा नहीं है, जंक फूड फास्ट फूड खा रहे हैं वगैरह वगैरह, तो प्राइमरी होने की संभावना होती है। लेकिन ज्यादातर लोग तंबाकू छोड़ने के बहुत सारे सलाह देने के बाद भी छोड़ते नहीं। जब कैंसर होता है तो भी छोड़ते, तब तो छोड़ते नहीं। ऐसा ही अनुभव है लोगों का इस प्रकार। लेकिन सेकेंडरी प्रिवेंशन के लिए लोग प्रयास कर सकते हैं इसके बारे में। और अगली पीढ़ी जो है उनमें कैंसर न आए, क्योंकि कैंसर आनुवंशिक है। और खास करके जो औरतों में कैंसर है, ब्रेस्ट कैंसर, ओवेरियन कैंसर, यूटेरिन कैंसर, सर्विक्स कैंसर, ये औरतों में पाए जाने वाले 4 कैंसर। विशेषकर ब्रेस्ट कैंसर बहुत तेजी से बढ़ रहा है। तो उसकी अगली पीढ़ी में ब्रेस्ट कैंसर होने के चांसेस बहुत ज्यादा है। तो उनको कैसे बचाए ये ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण है। तो उसके लिए भी हम प्रयास करना चाहते हैं कि प्रिवेंशन ऑफ कैंसर क्या है। इसमें मूल तो यही है कि खाना पीना कर लो, लाइफ स्टाइल कर लो, यही अहम है। दवाइयाँ दे सकते हैं उसके साथ में व्यक्ति के अनुसार, लेकिन मूल जो है वो लाइफ स्टाइल चेंज करो, खाना पीना चेंज करो, नेगेटिविटी भी मिल जाओ। बहुत सारी गलत होती है वो नेगेटिविटी से, विषादों को ऐसा हो सकता है। तो निगेटिविटी अगर बढ़ती है तो उससे बहुत ज्यादा नुकसान होता है और वो बढ़ता रहता है इस प्रकार से। तो उससे बच के रहना चाहिए, पॉजिटिविटी होनी चाहिए। लेकिन अगर कोई मार्ग खुद नहीं रहा हो तो पॉजिटिविटी कहाँ रहेगी? अगर थोड़ा भी सुधार हो जाता है परिस्थिति में, लाक्षणिक उपशम मिल जाता है, तो लोगों की स्फूर्ति बढ़ती है, हौसला बढ़ता है कि हाँ हम कर सकते हैं इस प्रकार से, और फिर आगे अच्छे रिजल्ट आते हैं। ऐसा है। तो मेरी किताबें हैं, मराठी में है, अंग्रेजी में, अभी हिंदी में भी निकली है, मेरे पास अभी आई नहीं, लेकिन जबलपुर में पब्लिश हुई है, तो वो भी अभी हिंदी वाली आ जाएगी कैंसर की। और लाइफस्टाइल और कैंसर की किताबें मेरे पास है, अभी हम दिखा सकते थे, लेकिन मराठी और अंग्रेजी का कैंसर का एक मैंने कर दे दिया लाइफस्टाइल का, लेकिन मराठी ये सभी किताबें हैं, आप देखना चाहते तो जरूर देख सकते हैं इस प्रकार से। और कैंसर बहुत बड़ा सब्जेक्ट है, लेकिन मैं चाहता हूं कि ये मराठी में डायबिटीज की है, ताजा बोलता शुगर फैक्टर इस प्रकार से। और डायबिटीज के बजाय हम सीकेडी में रिटायरेबल में ज्यादा काम करते हैं ऐसा। ये कैंसर आयुर्वेद का सर्वांगीण मराठी में है, या आयुर्वेदिक जीवनशैली आयुर्वेदिक ये भी मराठी में, इसका अंग्रेजी में पब्लिश हुआ है, आयुर्वेदिक लाइफस्टाइल है। ये बस आरोग्य था, ये तो कर देते जो कह रहे हैं बस आरोग्य था इस प्रकार की। और कैंसर, हार्ट डिजीज एंड डायबिटीज आयुर्वेदिक पर्सपेक्टिव, ये अंग्रेजी किताब है। आप जरूर देख सकते हैं किताबें, जिनको परचेस करना है वो परचेस कर सकते हैं। लेकिन बात ऐसी है कि करने लायक बहुत ज्यादा है इन सभी क्षेत्र में, खास करके कैंसर के बारे में तो बड़ी नॉलेज है इस प्रकार से। और जितनी तेजी से कैंसर बढ़ रहा है, कुछ एलोपैथी कर नहीं रही, वो तो अपने ही फायदे में मशगूल है। केमोथेरेपी, फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्री, हॉस्पिटल मैनेजमेंट, जो सभी फॉर्म में है, बहुत सारा कमा रहा है इस प्रकार से।
धन्यवाद। अत्र अनेक साहेब प्रोफेसर दिलीप गाडगिलवर्यः तत्र सत्रस्वीकरणं समाप्ति दत्तम्। एतैः तन्त्रोक्तिः अवगन्तुं कानि कानि तत्त्वानि सहायकानि सन्ति इति विषये तत्र चर्चा कृता। अनेन सह विविधरोगाणां तेषां निदानविषये अपि परामृष्टम्। कर्कसदृशरोगाणां विषये अपि तत्र निदानं, तेषां कथं तत्र रक्षणं भवेत् रोगिणां तदपि परामृष्टम्। एतदस्माकं सौभाग्यम् आसीत् यत् एतादृशाः तत्र ज्ञानवृद्धाः वरिष्ठाः चिकित्सकाः वैद्याः भारते अङ्गुलीगण्ये एव सन्ति। प्रोफेसर देवदत्त महोदय सः अपि अस्माकं बहुवारं चर्चा भवति। तर्हि अस्माकं सौभाग्यम् अस्ति यत् एतैः अमूल्यसमयप्रदानेन वयम् अनुगृहीताः। अतः एतेषां वयं सादरम् एतेषां कृते कृतज्ञतां धन्यवादान् च विज्ञापयामः। पुनः पुनः अभिनन्दनं च कुर्मः। अग्रे अपि भविष्यत्काले अस्माकं मार्गदर्शनम् एवमेव करिष्यन्ति। अनेन सह एव काश्चन सूचनाः सन्ति। अत्र दूरवाणी आदि जङ्गम दूरवाणी आदि विषये भवन्तः जागरूकाः भवन्तु। गमनागमनकाले यदा भोजनं कृत्वा आगच्छन्ति अथवा इतः गच्छन्ति तर्हि तत्र दूरवाण्याः चौर्यं न स्यात्। केचन जनाः आगच्छन्ति बाइक् यानं, ते यदा भवन्तः दूरवाणीं कुर्वन्तः भवन्ति झटिति अपहृत्य नयन्ति, तर्हि भवन्तः किमपि न कर्तुं शक्नुवन्ति। प्रथमदिने एवमेव अस्माकं प्रतिभागिनः सह एव जातम्। अतः तद्विषये जागरूकाः भवन्तु। श्वः यथावत् सत्रं 10 वादनतः सत्रारम्भो भविष्यति। यथा कालं भवन्तः आगच्छन्तु। यदि भवन्तः प्रथमे सत्रे विलम्बिताः भवन्ति तर्हि अग्रिमं सत्रं विलम्बेन चलति, ततः अग्रिममपि विलम्बेन चलति, अतः विलम्बः जायमानः। अतः यथा कालम् आगच्छामः। अधुना शान्तिमन्त्रेण सह सर्वे सन्तु सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ओम शांति शांति शांति।